Pete the Parakeet Finds a Friend by Irma Simonton Black. Illustrated by Harvey Weiss. Right after Pete flew out the door, Mrs. Morrison came in by the other door. "Listen here, one of you," she said to Andy and his father. "Next time you want to use one of my hairpins, I wish you would have the kindness not to scatter them all over the floor." Mr. Morrison looked up from his paper. "Why on earth would we take your hairpins?" "Why, Tom," she replied, "how can you sit there looking so innocent when only last week you used a hairpin to clean the opening of an oil can?" "But, Mom," Andy put in, "we always ask before we take one." "Well, somebody did it," she said. "If you don't believe me, come and see for yourself." She quickly turned. Andy followed. There in her room was Pete walking around on top of the dresser, chattering to the bird in the mirror. Now and then, he hopped over to the hairpin tray, picked up a hairpin, and dropped it over the edge of the dresser. It fell into a small pile that he had already dropped. The Three Sillies. In the morning, the young squire was surprised to see the merchant carefully hang his trousers on the knobs of the bureau, instead of putting them on the usual way. He was even more surprised to see the merchant back across the room, making a running high jump toward the trousers, and try to jump into them. This peculiar behavior so astonished the young squire, especially as it was repeated several times without success, that he asked the merchant what he was attempting to do. "Why, getting into my trousers," said the merchant. "And to tell you the truth, I find it very trying indeed, and am quite worn out every morning with effort." Michael, Who Missed His Train by Dorothy and Marguerite Bryan. Illustrated by Grace Paull. So Mother said, "Michael means well, but he must go back to Boston." Mary, David, Patsy, and Michael all met out under the weeping willow tree. Patsy sat close beside Mary and kissed the tip of Michael's nose. "What shall we try now?" asked David. "We will have to try a brand new surprise trick," answered Mary. "We must all put on our thinking caps." So Mary made them each a newspaper hat, and they sat thinking and thinking and thinking and thinking. Then strange sounds began to come out from under the weeping willow tree. Whistlings and tootings and thumpings and excited yippings.